Traditionally, we think of DNA, we think of OJ, right? We think of pools of blood, but now law enforcement is testing very tiny amounts of DNA in a lot of cases.
DNA probabilistic genotyping is where biological matter, too small for a human to analyze, is run through a private company's software to calculate the probability of what the rest of that DNA sequence is.
This forensic DNA evidence is coming into court under the guise of it being science.
It should not be a self-regulated industry. I mean, we're dealing with people's lives here.
In general, I'm agnostic about the use of forensic algorithms in the criminal justice system. Whether or not it's overall a good thing depends on the quality of the tool.
Well, the first question is, how does it work? Suppose you have a mixture of, 5 people that are on a handgun, and their DNA genetic types are all mixed together. That type of data is not possible for people to look at and pull apart. You need a much better statistical understanding of what's going on. So computers can model the process in the laboratory of how that data is generated, and a computer can take minutes or days to try out all those different possibilities and work out statistically what's more probable and what's less probable.
And that our clients are forced to make decisions about in terms of whether or not to plead guilty, based on some number that's going to go before a judge, that nobody really understands how we got to that number. Nobody understands the program that was used to develop that.
I've worked with thousands of lawyers, and this concept of asking for trade secrets is a great ploy. And in some cases, it makes sense.
Well, you got me there, counselor.
The introduction of these forensic algorithms into criminal proceedings has provoked a trend where the developers of the technology are arguing that their trade secret rights should entitle them to withhold relevant evidence from the accused.
Well, there's no reason to share source code with anyone. You may ask, well, how do you know how it works? Well, it's a great question. We have a written description that brings together 25 years of papers, and in one place describes each variable in English for the lawyers. We estimate that if you knew the MATLAB programming language, it would take about 8.5 years to read, which would kind of interfere with a timely trial.
I would disagree with that. With the OCME's forensic statistical tool, when a federal judge signed a subpoena for the defense expert to have access to review it, that expert, Nathan Adams, discovered something in the source code that had never been revealed, which actually discarded data under certain circumstances, right? So it could be important data for getting the right answer and excluding somebody. And no one knew it was there until an outside expert actually reviewed the code.